Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple with our next YouTube mini class. Yay! This is YouTube number 129 and it is a refresh of a YouTube I did a few years ago called The Do's and Don'ts of the Sizzix Big Shot Machine and Vagabond Machine. Now, since I did that YouTube, things have changed dramatically. There is so many more tools, the precision base plate, the magnetic plate, the ink transfer sheets. There's so many more tools out now for the Sizzix Big Shot machine, and there's a whole new machine called the Sizzix Big Shot Plus machine. So I thought it would be a good time to maybe update and revamp that YouTube. If you are thinking about buying a Big Shot machine or a Big Kick machine, because a Big Shot machine and a Big Kick machine are the exact same machine, this is a good YouTube for you. If you own a Big Shot or a Big Kick machine, this is a good YouTube for you. If you own a Big Shot Plus machine, this is a good YouTube for you. And if you're thinking about upgrading to a Big Shot Plus, well, this is for you as well. If you have no idea about die cutting, this is going to be a great YouTube to introduce you. But I am going to be talking a lot about the tools that have come out since my last YouTube, which was several years ago, and there's like 300,000 views on it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And my hair is way longer, I think, and my face might be a little thinner, but hey, so I'm excited to bring this to you. This is a YouTube you will want to take notes. So if you have to pause me, go ahead, pause me. That's my pause face. Pause me and go get a paper and pencil. If you need to revisit this YouTube because you can only watch it 10 minutes at a time, I understand. Watch it 10 minutes at a time, but watch it all the way through. Please know I am not the Sizzix spokesperson. Stephanie Bernard is the Sizzix spokesperson. I don't work for Sizzix. I don't work for Ellison. I'm never paid by any manufacturer for my YouTubes, which gives me the confidence to say exactly what I need to say, exactly the way I want to say it. If I love something, I tell you I love something. If I wish they did something different, I tell you I wish they did something different. If there is a special way you need to use the tool, I tell you that. And that's because I'm free to say whatever it is I want to say, because these are my YouTubes. I get manufacturers all the time offering to pay me, but no, I need to be me, and I need to be as honest and upfront with you so you know what you're getting into before you actually get into it. You may find that you don't want to die cut at all, or you may find that the Plus machine isn't for you, and I don't want to just sell you on something. I want to show you why you may or may not want a certain product, and then it's up to you. And I feel that as a teacher, I've done my job to give you all the information so you can make an informed decision. So, I've got a lot going on today. I'm going to get started, but before we do that, I am going to do Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, because in YouTube 128, I totally forgot. I was so excited about the new Simply Defined Bountiful Harvest collection, which is my dies, and the new reflections paper. I forgot. So, if you want to find out if you're the winner from YouTube 128, go to YouTube 128, and I posted the name. I'm so sorry, but I was so excited. Okay, but I've got it here, so I'm gonna announce the winners from the winners YouTube 129. So the winners of YouTube 129 are going to win what we featured last week, which was the reflections paper. So you're going to win an assortment of the beautiful reflections paper, which is the self-adhesive foil paper that is under my own brand. It's my paper. And so if you are Debbie Sage or Penny Fenton and Debbie Sage, congratulations. You are our YouTube winner chicken dinner. Yay! How are you going to claim your prizes? It's super easy. You're going to email us at winner, W-I-N-N-E-R, winner, W-I-N-N-E-R, at scrapbookingmadesimple.com. That's it. Winner at scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Say that you are YouTube 129 winner chicken dinner. Give us your name, address, and telephone number, and we'll have those prizes out to you just as quickly as possible. Now, you want to be a winner, and from this YouTube, we are going to give you the opportunity to either win a Sizzix Big Shot machine or a Sizzix Big Shot Plus machine. All you have to do is post a comment at the end of this YouTube. Keep it nice, please. Something positive and uplifting and motivating, and inside that comment add, and wouldn't it be great if I won the Sizzix Big Shot machine or Sizzix Big Shot Plus machine. Now, we'll give one of each away, and of course, if 800 of you post a comment and only 50 of you want the Big Shot machine, which is the smaller of the two machines, you've got a 1 in 50 chance of winning it. If everybody wants the Big Shot Plus machine, well, only one person's going to win, so the odds of you winning are going to change by how many people post their comments and which machine they want. So, tomorrow I am doing YouTube number 130. The YouTubes are going to be back to back. Sorry about that, but we'll announce the winners from YouTube 129, this YouTube, and YouTube 130 in YouTube 131. So you're going to have to wait till 131 to hear if you won. That way enough people have the chance to watch both of them and post comments. So you could win on YouTube 129 or YouTube 130, who knows, but I'll announce it in YouTube 131. So Debbie and Penny, congratulations to you. I hope you love what you've won. And I think we're going to get started for today. Just remember, I have no script, I have no cue cards, and I don't know how to edit these YouTubes. I've never learned how to edit. So whatever I say comes out, I'm going to try and give you the best, most accurate information that you will need to be able to use your machines. And if I've forgotten something, I'm very sorry. But like I said, no cue cards and no script. It is what it is. All right, down we go. We're going to start for today. Got your pencil and paper ready? Yes. Okay. All right. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with talking just briefly about two of the most common dies on the market, meaning the types of dies. This here is a wafer thin die, and it's called a wafer thin die because, well, it's pretty much wafer thin. It has a cutting edge around the die wherever it's supposed to cut. There's this little ridge here, and that is what actually cuts the paper. You can cut fun foam with this, you can do some felt with this, you can do some fabric with this. It's meant to cut maybe 2 sheets of paper at any one time, and as you can see, there are these lines here that give definition to the die, but there's no cutting edges around them. That's because this is part of the embossing and stenciling feature of a wafer die, and many wafer dies have this. Who makes a wafer die? Sizzix, Simply Defined My Dies, Simply Refined My Dies, Spellbinders, Memory Box, Diversions, Dynamics, Avriel, Lawn Fawn, you name it. Almost everybody, Elizabeth Crafts, they make wafer style dies. So it's very common in the industry, and this is why I'm going to be using one of these dies today. I'm going to show you how to cut it, I'm going to show you how to emboss it, but more importantly, I'm going to show you between the two different machines some of the different techniques that you can do with it so that you're most successful. Then I've got right next to it what's called a steel rule die. S-T-E-E-L. Next word is R-U-L-E, steel rule die. And this is a Sizzix die. You can see it's much, much thicker than a wafer die. That's because this die has actual blades in them. There's the squishy on top, but inside that die cut, because this is what it cuts, there's actual blades in there that cut the paper. What that means is that this die is a little bit more functional when you're talking about heavier materials like sandpaper or vinyl or leather or a heavier material, fabric, or gosh, cutting 4 or 5 sheets of paper at one time. This will do that for you because there is a real live blade in there. But using these on a Big Shot or a Big Shot Plus machine, how to use them is completely different, and I want to show you that. We're going to get into that. I want to be quick about it because I think most of you already have basic die cutting down, but for those of you who have never seen die cutting before, I don't want to forget you. I don't want you to feel like you've been left out and you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm going to start with my wafer die, and I am going to just grab a piece of my Coordinations cardstock, and you guys aren't gonna care what color I use. And I'm gonna tear it out. And I am going to bring over a brand new 2016 Big Shot machine. So this is a Big Shot machine. It's the new white and gray. Yes, if you have a Sizzix Big Kick machine that you bought from Michael's or from Joann's, it is the same machine. What makes the difference between the two? Big Shot machines are only found at independent retailers like me. That's what it is. They called it a Big Shot machine, and the only place you're going to find a Big Shot machine is at an independent retailer. A Big Kick machine, which is usually more red and white, you're going to find at the box stores, the Michaels and the Joann's and the Hobby Lobbies, because again, the Sizzix Ellison wanted to differentiate the two between independent stores and larger retailers. The machines are, for all intents and purposes, the same. If you have a Big Kick machine, everything I do on this Big Shot machine, you will be able to do on your Big Kick machine. No problem. If you have a Cuttlebug machine, well, all the tools I'm going to be using today are meant for Sizzix machines, not for Cuttlebug machines. So you can't necessarily take the tools that I'm going to show you, the precision base plate and the transfer sheets and the magnetic platform, and use them in your Cuttlebug. I'm so sorry. Cuttlebug makes tools for their machine, and Ellison makes tools for Sizzix machines, and they don't mix. But maybe by the end of this YouTube, you're gonna love a Sizzix machine so much that you're gonna wanna go out and get one. Or maybe you're just gonna want the dies, because yes, the dies you can use in your Cuttlebug machine. So first and foremost, before I start to cut, I just really wanna show you what comes with your machine. So not only do you get the actual machine, but you get clear plates. I don't know if you can see them. This one's been cut into, I've already started to cut into this one, but you get 2 clear plates, and they call these cutting pads, and you get a large extended multi-purpose platform. They used to make one about half this size, maybe a little bit more than half, and they no longer make that. So they give all of their customers the new, larger multi-purpose platform to go with their machine. This right here on its own sells for, I believe, $39.99 if you had to buy it by itself. So they've given you added value. This is where not being the Sizzix spokesperson, I can say what I want to say and don't have to worry about it. Woohoo! Okay, with the new machine, or with the Sizzix Big Shot machine, they do not give you the extended cutting pads, the clear plates. They give you the standard size. So they're short. So if you have dies that are longer border dies, or if you want to take advantage of all the space, you want to put one die here and one die here and another die here and another die here, and you want to crank it through and have a whole bunch of dies on here and cut it all at once, you can't do that with the plates that they give you. The largest die you can do on this machine is the size of your plates. And if all you have are the standard, and you may not have anything longer, the standard plates may work fine for you, but if you had the larger plates, you could have more workspace. And so I understand that Ellison was trying to hit a price point by not giving you the larger plates. They were able to meet that price point. I just think from a consumer standpoint, you want what's going to work with the machine, and while these do, you're missing a little bit. And I think most of you probably would have been happy to pay the extra little money to get the longer platform, or the longer plates. So here are the longer plates. They retail for $19.99. And again, if you want to be able to use the full size of your multi-purpose platform, you're going to need to add these. Or if you have any long border dies, you're going to need to add those to your collection. So I have got the multi-purpose platform, which has a couple tabs on it. It has tab 2, open it up, tab 1, open it up, and a base, and they're all hinged together. These tabs tell you exactly what you can do, what dies will work with them. So if I keep this multi-purpose platform completely closed, I know I can do wafer dies. And what's a wafer die? The really thin dies. I know I can do really thin dies by keeping this platform completely closed. If I open it up, it will tell me that I can do Sizzix dies, which are something that are exclusive to Sizzix, or I can do embossing folders on this. It gives you all of the instructions on what you can do. But I know me, and I think more of you are probably like me than not. I don't read the instructions, I just want to do it. So when you're working with your Big Shot machine or your Big Shot Plus machine, remember you only have 4 options. You can keep your platform completely closed. You can open it up to tab 1. You can open it up to the base, or you don't use it at all. So if I had my wafer die and I wasn't paying attention and reading the directions, and I opened it all the way up to my base plate, and I put my pad down, and I put my die and my paper and my other cutting pad, and I sent it through my machine, it would not cut. It's not tall enough to reach the rollers in my machine. So if you send it through and nothing happens, pull the next shim down. Lay it back down, try it again. So now I'm on tab 1. And if I sent it through, it still wouldn't cut. You're gonna be going, well, why is it not cutting? Well, pull it down and now try it on the top. And then it will cut. You only have 3 options. So if I had something like a Sizzix die that was a little bit thicker and I tried it on tab 2, everything completely closed, it would be too thick. It wouldn't go through. It won't let you push it through. So then I would open it to tab 1 and put it down. Then it would go through. So you only have 4 options. And you're saying, well, Stacy, what's the 4th option? The 4th option is with a steel rule die, where you don't use the multi-purpose platform at all. That's your 4th option. Just keep lifting the shim and putting a new one down. They're, like I said, they're already, they're hinged together so you can't lose them. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut my first die. Now again, I'm doing a wafer die, and everything I do on the Sizzix machine gets sandwiched in between 2 things, whether it be 2 cutting pads or a crease pad and a cutting pad or a precision base plate and a cutting pad. It always gets made into a sandwich. So I am going to take my first clear pad and I'm going to put it down, and I use that as my do not cut pad. Now it comes with the 2 clear ones, but for me, I prefer to have one of the colored pads as my do not cut pad. That way I always know this is my do not cut pad and I don't get confused. Also, if you've got a whole bunch of stuff on your table, the clear ones tend to blend in and get lost. The colored one, you can find your pads pretty darn easy. So I've got my multi-purpose platform completely closed. I've got my do not cut pad. I've got my die face up so that the ridges, the cutting ridges, are facing me. I have my paper, and then I have my cut pad, and this one's already slightly been cut into. Let's see if I can get you an image of it. So yes, when you send your die through your machine, whether it be the Big Shot or the Big Shot Plus, it is going to indent into your cut pad, and that's okay. You don't know how many people call and say, oh no, I started die cutting and it left a mark into my clear plate. That's what it's supposed to do. You did it absolutely perfect, not a problem. Few little creaks and cracks, don't worry, just keep rolling it on through. And then ta-da! I have cut my, oh, that's not the right hole. There we go. Oh, come on out. There. I've cut my leaf. Easy peasy, done. Okay, and I did that on my Big Shot machine. Now your Big Shot machine is 6 inches wide. You've got a 6-inch width to work with. So most of your dies are going to only be, they're going to fit in there. But sometimes you may want a bigger die, and for that you will need the Big Shot Plus machine. Let me just put this over here for just a moment. And let me pull the paper out. You may want a Big Shot Plus machine. I have got some embossing folders. I've got an embossing folder right here. This embossing folder is going to go through your Big Shot. It's going to go through your Big Shot Plus. Not a problem, either one. But I also have this embossing folder. Can you see that? Can you see how much bigger it is? This is an A4 embossing folder, and this is actually what YouTube number 130 is going to be about. The larger embossing folders with some Faber-Castell product. This is wider. It's 8 inches wide. So you're going to need a machine that's going to be able to do something 8 inches wide, not 6 inches wide. That's the Big Shot Plus machine. So I'm going to pull that machine over and I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences so you know. Okay, so here it is. It's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit heavier, not much. I was actually very surprised that it wasn't as heavy as I thought it was going to be. Let me tilt this up just a little bit. You've got a full 9-inch width here, which allows you to not only do the regular size embossing folders or the regular size dies, but it allows you to do your big embossing folders and your big dies that you would not be able to do in your standard Big Shot machine. Now, it also comes with everything you need, and this time, woohoo, ka-choo, they gave you the clear cutting pads are the same size as the platform. So yes, you get the cutting pads that are the exact same size as the platform, and they're a little large. Just trying to get that, there we go. They're a little large, but that gives you so much workspace. It's amazing what you can do with those. And instead of the multi-purpose platform being hinged like it is with the smaller machine, these are done in shims that you just lay over the top. And again, all the directions are there. So if I wanted to do an embossing folder, which we'll do, I would be using this shim right here. I would put this right against my base shim because that's what it tells me. It tells me take my gray one or my tan one and put my pink one on top, and then my cutting plates or my cutting pads, and send it on through. Or if I was doing a wafer die, there's my, it gives you everything you need. It shows you that you don't need to have this. It says you just need to have the base platform and the teal, which is what I've got. Now, when using this machine, my recommendation is that you have a pair of smaller cutting pads. Absolutely. Because when you're doing a smaller die, like the little leaf, you don't necessarily want to fumble bumble with the larger cutting pads, and the smaller cutting pads will work great. And we're going to do it just like we did with the Big Shot machine. I've got the shims the way they've told me to put them down. I've got my base and I've got my wafer shim. I've got my clear, my do not cut plate, which on this one is nice because you can roll it. You can either roll it this way or you can roll it this way. It's entirely up to you. I've got my die face up, my paper down against it, and another clear plate. And I'm gonna send it through. Could I use it with my really big clear pads? Sure I can. Do they make a colored clear plate for this machine? Not yet. Do I think they're probably working on it? Probably. Have they told me? No. But as soon as I know, you'll know, unless they make me sign one of those foolish little confidentiality agreements. They so get in the way. And it cut it out perfect. Just perfect. Whether you're using the Big Shot or the Big Shot Plus. So some of the tools are absolutely able to mix and match between the two machines. If I didn't want to use the big platform that it comes with, I could put that over to the side. Sure, I could absolutely grab my regular multi-purpose platform that comes with my other machine and just put it on there and die cut away without question. Let's put that there, put that there. So if you don't wanna, if you've got this one handy, it's right sitting right there, yes, you can grab it. This is your regular multi-purpose platform, and then I'm gonna send it on through and it's gonna cut it just fine. So you have lots of options when you're using the Plus machine, but if you're never going to do anything larger than the typical dies out there, the no wider than 6 inches, then you're fine with just the standard Big Shot machine or the standard Big Kick machine, and we're fine again. So a much larger width to be able to do much larger things. Yes, there's a price difference without question. The standard Big Shot machine retails for $119.99. That's the smaller machine, and we sell it for $89.99 every day. The larger machine retails for $199.99, and we sell it for $149.99 every day. So there is a price difference between the two. So you really have to decide what it is you're going to be using this larger machine for. I'm going to put that over there, and now I'm going to move this back, and instead of using a wafer die, I'm going to use quickly my steel rule die, and I'm going to bring my Big Shot machine back. This time, because this is already thick, it's the same thickness as your multi-purpose cutting pad. That's why they made this. They made this because they had to get this wafer die to be as thick as a steel rule die. So now we don't need this because I'm going to be using the steel rule die. And it's very easy. It's the easiest sandwich there is. Your do not cut plate on the bottom, your die face up, your paper, and the beauty of a steel rule die is you can cut more than one at a time, or you can cut heavier material. So let's rip out a couple different colors. So I've got 4 sheets here. I'm going to put all 4 of them on top of my die, and then I'm going to add my clear plate, and I'm going to send it on through. Little creaks and cracks are just fine. Okay. So there's 3. I left my orange one behind, so it cut all 4 at the exact same time. I probably could have cut 2 more sheets of paper without any problem. So if you've got something that you need to make masses of, you really want to try and find a steel rule die to do it, because with the wafer die, no more than 2 sheets of paper at a time. Steel rule, 4, 5, 6 sheets, leather, acetate, fun foam, felt, heavier material. Really, the world is your oyster with that. And again, that doesn't matter if you're doing it in the regular Big Shot machine or the Big Shot Plus. So I'm going to move this right out of my way, and I'm going to put these down, and I'm just going to grab my Big Shot Plus machine. Now again, I'm not using a huge die, so I'm going to keep with my smaller plates because it's just easier for me. If you don't want to invest in smaller plates, you don't have to. You absolutely can use the larger plates that it comes with. But for me, it's just easier and faster to grab the small plates. A little less cumbersome. Now, if I wanted to cut 2 steel rule dies at the same time, then yes, I would use my larger plates and just put them side by side, and I could send them through at the exact same time because they give you a larger work area. Just put that down, my cut plate, and send it on through. Just to show you that you can use your smaller pads. And done. Okay, so there you have basic die cutting. Now we're going to get a little bit more intricate, and we're going to do a little bit more with the tools that have come out since the machines, since my last YouTube with the machines, which I want to say is almost 3 years ago. All right, so first thing I want to talk to you about is these little lines in here. A lot of wafer dies have the availability to not only cut them, but you can emboss them and you can stencil them. You have a lot of opportunity. I want to show you how you use the embossing feature with the Sizzix Big Shot or the Big Shot Plus machine. It's exactly the same regardless of how you do it. But I'm going to show you real quick, and to do this, I need what's called a knock knock and a squishy pad. Now, no, those are not their names. And I get a little ribbing every now and then from a few peeps at Sizzix who say, could you please call them by their real names? Well, this is for you. And you both know who you are. This is called a silicone pad. And I call it a squishy pad because you can squish it. This is the impression pad. I call it a knock-knock pad because it knocks. Now, my answer to them as to, they say, well, why do you call it a squishy and a knock-knock? Well, I'm gonna open them up and show you. Ugh, everything's all new product. We're opening all new product for this YouTube. Okay, so here is my squishy. What color is it? It's black. Here's my knock knock. You want to take a guess at what color it is? It's black. Now, if I'm in class with you and you're here in the shop, I can easily show you the difference between the two. But on camera, they're kind of about the same size. They kind of look alike. So how do you differentiate on camera? Well, squishy and knock knock. That's how the names came to be. And until I have different colored pads, or they let me have my own colored pads, hint, hint. I'm calling them squishy and knock knock, and if you go on our webpage to order these and you type in the word squishy or knock knock, I promise you they'll pop up. Now these two pads work hand in hand. They're two peas in a pod. If you have this one, the squishy, and you don't have the knock knock, you can't do much. If you have the knock knock but you don't have the squishy, you can't do much. You need to have them together. They last forever. They're $7 a pad. They do not come with either machine. They are an additional item and you do have to purchase them separately, but for $7 each, they are well worth the money. Now, I'm gonna take my die and I am going to die cut. I'm gonna grab my Big Shot machine. I've got my multi-purpose platform completely closed because that's what it tells me to do if I want to do a wafer die. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put my do not cut plate, which is my pretty purple plate, so I know not to cut into it. I'm going to put my die face up so that the ridges, I can feel the ridges. If you put it face down, you're going to cut into your do not cut plate. That's how you know you did it wrong. If you got to cut into your do not cut plate, you did it backwards. So ridges face up, paper, and then my top cutting pad or my top clear plate. And there is my sandwich, and I'm going to send it through. And what's it gonna do? It's going to cut. That's all it's gonna do because that's all I've asked it to do. So, there's my, I shouldn't have put purple on purple, but there's my die. You can see that it's cut out. Now I want to use the embossing feature. That requires me to lift up my do not cut plate, open my multi-purpose pad up to tab 1, put this back down, and put my squishy on top of my paper. I can't see my die right now. My die is on the, oh, fire truck. My die is right there. I can't see it. It's down against my multi-purpose platform on tab 1. I'm going to put my squishy and my knock knock. I am not going to put another clear plate. My knock knock takes the place of my clear plate. Then I'm going to bring my machine on over. And I'm going to send it through. Now, you know that it's working if the squishy comes out the back end. And this is the back end, and I know that sounds really not very pleasant, but you want squishy to come out the back end. So my squishy, oh, see, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Can you see it? I'm gonna turn this up. Can you see it growing? It's all the way out here now. Before, it was underneath, you couldn't even see it. Oh, it's growing, now it's even longer. What is happening is that squishy, that silicone pad is being forced by the ruler in the machine to push that paper into those opening spaces that didn't have a cut edge around them. And it's creating an embossing. It's pushing that paper down into those openings, forcing that paper into that empty negative space so you get an embossing. Let's slide it back through. Open it up. You can actually see the embossing already, and I'm on the back side. So I turn it over, pop it out. And now you can see where that, I want to take that plate away. Now you can see where that embossing is. Can you see it right there? It's pushed that paper and made it go into that negative space. But this is special paper. Gosh, I hope I didn't do it backwards. I might have. And you can sand this paper. Nope, perfect. This is the Coordinations color core paper. So I can sand it, and now that embossing comes up even more. Coordinations cardstock. It's not a white core, it's not a color core or a solid core. Solid core would be if I tore the paper and it was the same color all the way down. White core would be if I tore the paper and you had a white showing, and Coordinations is a color core. So if I tear it, a lighter color of that hue will come through. It's beautiful. They make it, we have it in 6 or 7 different cardstock packs. They're beautiful. So that is using an embossing feature with your die. You can use your Big Shot. You can use your Big Shot Plus machine. Either one will work just perfectly. It is a two-step process. The first step is cutting your die on tab 2, then opening it up and embossing on tab 1. That's how you do it. Now, if you just wanted to emboss, you could do that, and I did that on an earlier YouTube, but let me see if I can grab this paper real quick. Maybe I won't use purple because I'm using a purple cutting pad. Let's use something other than purple. Let's use green. So if I just wanted to emboss and not cut, I would skip step 1 in its entirety. Totally skip it. I would put my do not cut plate down. I would put my die ridges face up. I would put my paper right against it. And then I would take my squishy and my knock knock. So I'm not doing step 1 where I am cutting my die, and I'm just gonna send this through. And again, right now you can't see the squishy at all, but slowly but surely it's gonna come right out the, oh, here it comes, it's coming out the back end, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. That's what you want to see. Now, instead of, oh, I left the die there. Instead of cutting, I didn't cut my die out, I embossed it. So let me grab my sand it gadget and let's just sand it a little bit so you can see that. Why would you ever want to do this? Well, how cute on envelopes, how cute for embellishments on your layouts where you don't necessarily want to use a die, but you want an embellishment. Now you can see it, and all it is embossed. I skipped step 1. I didn't cut the die first. I just went straight to step 2. So remember, when you're using your squishy and your knock knock or your silicone pad, which I think, let's see, the silicone pad is this? Okay, so the impression pad number is 655120. That's the Sizzix number, and you can type that into our search bar and you'll find this. And the silicone pad is 655121. Knock knock, squishy. They're meant to use for your embossing features on your wafer thin dies. And again, doesn't matter if you're using it on your Big Shot or your Big Shot Plus machine, it will work for both. Let me just move this out of the way and move this over here. And I could move my Big Shot machine, my Big Shot Plus machine over here, and I could take my platforms here and put this right on top. Take my die, grab some paper, my do not cut plate, my die, my paper, my clear plate, send it through. I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to read my directions. And it says, for embossing, you're going to use your pink shim. So I'm going to lift up my cutting pad, my plates that have my die in between. I'm going to take off the teal. And I'm going to add the pink because that's what it says to do. And then I'll open it up. I'll add my squishy and my knock knock and send it on through. Doesn't matter which machine you have, they both are going to work beautifully, and the squishy's coming out the back end. That's perfect. Some lady, we had a customer who was here for crop and she started yelling, "The squishy's coming out the back end." I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound good, but it's accurate." Okay, and now if I pop it out, I've got the same thing. I've got the embossing feature there. I could take my sand it gadget, sand it, and that embossing is gonna come right up. Again, doesn't matter which machine you own, you have to have the squishy and the knock knock. It's a must if you want to use embossing features with your dies. Now, there's one more black pad I want to talk to you about very quickly, and I'm not going to use it, I'm not going to demo it, but I want to talk to you about it because it can be a little confusing. We get people in all the time who have bought this black pad and not the squishy or the knock knock. All right, so what I have here is the thud pad. And the thud pad comes in 2 sizes, and no, it's not called a thud pad. It's the crease pad. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to show you. This is the Sizzix crease pad. Now, it's not as squishy as the squishy pad, but it's not as hard and rigid as the knock knock pad, hence the reason I call it the thud pad. This is a crease pad, but again, black, black, black. How would I ever tell you the difference unless they're in different colors? So squishy, crease, thud. Knock, knock. What do you use your crease pad for? Do you have any of the Jen Long dies that have creases to make cards? Or do you have any of the Stephanie Bernard dies or Spellbinders dies where there's a creasing folder, a scoring folder, or a scoring part of the die where there's a place where it scores it so you can fold? This is what you use in place of a top clear pad. So if I had a steel rule die and it had a scoring feature right here because it was a card, I would go ahead and I would put my do not cut plate down. This, I would put down some paper, and instead of another clear cut pad, I would use my thud or my crease pad. What that's going to do is it's going to allow that scoring feature of the die to work beautifully, so you get a beautifully scored line when you're done die cutting. Yes, it will continue to cut out everything else that's meant to be die cut, but it will keep that scoring line from cutting on through. So if you are a card maker and you are using Sizzix dies or anybody's dies that has a scoring feature in them, you would like to have a crease pad. It does come in 2 sizes. My recommendation is to buy the larger size. This one I think is $10.99 or $11.99, and this one I think is $19.99. Why wouldn't you want the benefit of the whole thing for just a little bit more money? That's my feeling. The smaller one, since you've got this platform anyway, that's what you've got, that's what they gave you. The smaller one's just gonna be smaller. Even if you use the larger one with the smaller cutting pads, it's okay if it hangs off the side. But if you ever buy something bigger that you need a larger crease pad for, at least you know you have it. So I would rather you save, maybe spend a few dollars more in the beginning with the thought that at least if you do get a larger die where you have creases like a box die or something, you know you've got the crease pad for it, versus buying the smaller one, and then if you do buy a larger die, then you do have to get this one too. That's my recommendation, it's up to you. But I wanted to explain the difference between a crease, which is a thud, a knock-knock, which is for embossing, and a squishy. So 3 different pads. The crease pad is used as a top, as the clear top plate when you're using like a card die or something that has full scores in it. Whereas the squishy and the knock-knock are bread and butter, peanut butter and jelly, Hagen and Dawes, Ben and Jerry's. They are to stay together and to be used together, okay? All right, we're going to move on. Next, I want to talk to you about the magnetic platform. Magnetic platform you will never use with a steel rule die, so I'm just going to put that right off to the side. I'm going to pull this guy out, brand new, never opened. That's if I can get him out. Let's grab my scissors. There we go. So brand new, never opened magnetic platform. What do you use this for and why do you want it? Well, if you do any kind of dies that have matching stamps, then you want it. This is the same thickness as this. They're exactly the same. If you keep this multi-purpose platform completely closed, it's the exact same thickness as your magnetic platform. So this is to be used with wafer dies only. And it says that right on there, wafer dies only. I'm gonna put that out of my wafer right now. It's a beautiful platform. It does not come with any of the machines. Yes, they do make a longer one. Actually, they do make one this length. It's $69.99. This one's $39.99. It's up to you if you want the really long one or the smaller. For our customers, we do not sell this one online. It's just too difficult to ship. I'm so sorry. But you can go to Sizzix.com and find it, and they'll be more than thrilled to ship it to you. They're a much bigger company than we are, and they have much better shipping rates for large, bulky things. So we have the smaller one, and it is a beautiful thing. What does it do? Well, if you have got a wafer die and you need to be very precise in what you're doing with it, it holds your paper in place. Nothing moves. To use it, however, we're going to use it a little differently than the multi-purpose platform. This time we're going to reverse the sandwich. So my cut plate is down against the platform, then my paper, then my die, then my do not cut plate. Because it doesn't do me any good to put a do not cut plate, my die, it'll still be magnetized, it still won't move, but my paper will move, and that defeats the whole purpose. My paper will move. You need to reverse the sandwich. So we just put our cut plate down, our paper, and then our die. I would not recommend using this, the magnetic platform, if you're going to use the embossing feature of your die, because then you need to pull out your multi-purpose platform and open to tab 1. It's just as easy to use if you're going to emboss. If you know ahead of time that you want those embossing lines in there, it's just as easy to use the right tool. Use your multi-purpose platform, cut it on tab 2, lift it open, put it on tab 1, take the top clear plate off, put your squishy and your knock-knock, and send it on through. However, if you are stamping, then you're really going to want to use this. I'm gonna grab a piece of paper. Gosh, I forgot a stamp pad. Usually I have a stamp pad right here waiting for me. I'm going to be using one of my dies. This is one of my Simply Defined dies from the Bountiful Harvest release. And I'm using Floral Blessings. Comes with the stamp set and the die set, so you get everything in the same package. And if you buy it in the bundle, it's comes to $10 a set and all 6 sets are $60. If you buy them open stock, they're $13.99 each. But I'm gonna take my stamp off and I'm gonna put it on my block. I'm gonna grab some Memento ink because that's our favorite ink here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. It is the very best ink of choice. And you are totally gonna forgive me for this one, and I don't think I've ever done it, but maybe I can reach over. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it was like instant presto. You didn't miss me at all. Here's my stamp mat. Put my paper on top of my stamp mat because you want a little bit of gush. Yeah, the stamp mat's the gush pad. I have a squishy pad, a gush pad, a knock-knock. I'm gonna ink it up and I'm going to stamp. And pull up, and there's my beautiful impression. From the very first stamp, I didn't even clean my stamp, and I got a very beautiful impression. Now I'm gonna take the coordinating die. This is where the magnetic platform comes in handy. I'm gonna just put these right over there. Put that right there. Get my lid over there. And I'm gonna bring over my Big Shop machine. So I've got my magnetic platform, I've got my cut plate, I've got my stamped image, and I've got my coordinating die. Now with Simply Defined, my dies, the stamps and the dies always come together. They're always sold together at a value price. And then I'm gonna send it on through. And what's gonna happen is I don't have to worry about that die moving, the paper moving or slipping. It holds it right in place so you get the most perfect cut every single time. That's what that magnetic platform is for. So if you're stamping and die cutting, yes, you really would like to have this magnetic platform. It will make your life a lot easier. No more using Post-it notes or washi tape or whatever it is that you use to keep your dies in place so they don't move. That's what that magnetic platform is for. And it is for your wafer dies. And I have a perfect image. Can you use it with your Big Shot Plus? Yes, I am going to use it with my Big Shot Plus. So let's move that off to the side. Hold on to these for just a minute. I'm going to stamp my image one more time. Bring over my stamp mat. And this is just a very small piece of the stamp mat. It's really, really big. So it's $3.99. And if you feel you're not a good stamper, chances are you're not using the stamp mat. It makes all the difference in the world. And it's so big, we have to cut it into two to ship it to you. But half of it is plenty. Give the other half to a friend. I'm telling you, this is like 1/8 of the size. We say share it because you get so much. Give a nice little press. We're not doing chest compressions. We're not doing chest compressions to revive the stamp. It isn't going to happen. Got a beautiful image. Oh, beautiful. I really like my stuff. I'm going to bring over my Big Shot Plus machine. And my magnetic platform. Now here you have an option. You can roll it through this way, or you can roll it through this way. It's whatever works best for you. I'm going to go ahead and put my paper down. I'm going to frame it with my die. It's now become magnetized, so if I were to pull it off, you can see it doesn't move. I'm going to put my clear plate or my do not cut plate over the top, and I'm going to send it through. And I'm done. So you can see, doesn't matter which machine you have, you're going to get great results. Great results using the right tools for the right product. So that is a magnetic platform. And if you do stamps and dies, it will be your new best friend. Except for me, I'm your new best friend too. So I'm going to roll this right back out of the way. And I think I'm going to move on. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the precision base plate. And let's pull the precision base plate out. I'm going to leave my magnetic platform here for just a minute because I want to talk to you about the precision base plate. Now, several of you know I discussed that there are two different precision base plates. Well, there was the original one that came out that doesn't have the rust inhibitor on it. I don't know which one I'm going to get because I'm opening this one up brand new. Oh, come on. Pop out. There we go. Oh, this one has the rust inhibitor on it. So the original precision base plates, the metal was exposed. This has got a coating on it. And they found that if it was too close to seawater, it would sometimes rust, or humidity, it would get a little rust. If that happens and you have the original precision base plate, have no fear, buy yourself some Pledge and wipe it off. Pledge, yes, who would have ever thought Pledge, but it will just take it right off. Now this one has a coating on it, which is a rust inhibitor. But what happens with this one is little bits of pieces of paper will get caught in there, and you're gonna look at it and go, oh, I don't like that. Easy peasy. You're going to take a baby wipe and you're gonna wipe it off and they're gonna be gone. Now the reason why I'm showing you this is, one, I wanna show you how to use it, but there are some do's and don'ts pertaining to the magnetic platform. I will get to that in just a second. I'm going to pull over my multi-purpose platform because that is what they recommend you use it with. Sizzix says use your precision base plate with your multi-purpose platform. I say yes, But there is another way you can use it with your magnetic platform. There are reasons Sizzix says to use it with this one, and I will explain those to you in just a minute. But I also know, I'm gonna look up because I need you to see this. I also know that crafters are crafters, and we grab what's handy and we grab what's close. And using the magnetic platform with your precision base plates, super easy, and it's right there. But when we get to it, I'm going to explain to you why Ellison doesn't recommend it. Does it mean you can't do it? No, but you will be informed as to why they say you shouldn't. And then if you choose to, go ahead. I will be honest. We do it here at the store, so I'm going to tell you the reasoning behind it, but before, let me just cut something on a precision base plate. Precision base plate is meant for intricate dies, and I have pulled out another one of my dies. This is my homespun doily background from the Bountiful Harvest collection. Let's pull it on out. And it comes with, yes, it comes with everything. It comes with the background die, it comes with the center die, it comes with all the words. Okay, so the precision base plate, when you use it, you need to keep your multi-purpose platform completely closed. You're going to put the precision base plate with the metal or the coated side facing you. If you do it this way and you can read the directions when you're cutting, you're doing it wrong. And what will happen is that, can you see that this base plate has this little lip all the way around it? That's the little housing unit for it. If you cut it this way, it is possible you will separate that housing unit from the metal and you'll make it look like a shark or an alligator. Wah, 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 wah. You don't want to use that. There you go. When you see this, if you're using it this way, think wah, 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 wah. Danger, danger. You need to have it so you cannot see the directions. This becomes your new bottom plate. You don't use a cutting plate. You have a new bottom plate. You're going to put your precision base plate. You're going to put your paper. You're going to put your die, and then your do not cut plate. And this is your sandwich. Now, the precision base plate is meant for intricate dies. Do you see how intricate my doily is? It is not meant for dies like this, which is the frame around the doily, or it's not meant for the heart that I did. It is meant for the center of the heart, which is very intricate. So there's the center of the heart. I would do this on my precision base plate, but I would not do this. Why? Okay, when you have an open die like this and you put it through your machine, the rollers are hitting it and it's only adding pressure to where the die is. And there's nothing in the center for stability to hold it firm and straight. And what will happen is those rollers will start to warp your die because it's not a solid, intricate piece. It has a whole lot to do with how the dispersion of the pressure from the rollers hits the die, and really all you need to know is it's not meant for open dies. Don't do it. If you don't want your die to warp, use it with what it's meant for, your intricate dies. I would cut this either on my magnetic platform or my multi-purpose platform without the precision base plate. So I'm gonna roll this through. Now, this is very hard, very, very hard. And when you put your clear plate on it, there is a possibility that the pressure is so tight that it's going to leave an indent into your top clear plate. Here's my top clear plate. Can you see that indent? Is that bad? No, it's not bad. It's gonna happen. It is what it is. You may wanna take one of your ugly plates because it's gonna dent into it anyway and use that as your top plate as opposed to your pretty, beautiful, new, grape or mint or watermelon. Grab one of your ugly old ones that you thought you were going to chuck. This is the time to use them because it's not going to hurt them and it's not going to warp them anymore. And if it dents into it, so be it. You don't care. You know, you're using it for that purpose. I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine. Man, I've got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine and I'm going to send it on through. Now, depending upon how intricate your die is, you may have to send it through once. Do not just roll it backwards. Don't roll it backwards without moving the die. If you do that, the rollers are hitting the die in the very same way it did before. So it's not changing the pressure on the die anywhere. So if it didn't cut exactly in one place, it's still not going to cut. I don't care if you go backwards and forwards 6 or 7 times. To ensure that doesn't happen, all you have to do is rotate your die a quarter turn. Now the rollers are going to hit it in a totally different way because you've moved it. Now, my guess is that I don't have to do this with this die because I know my dies and I know Sizzix and I know that it would have cut on the first time. But you're using Spellbinders and Memory Box and Avriel and Lawn Fawn and everybody else. So if you want to just get into the habit of doing a quarter turn roll, you can see it cut everything. I'm going to pop it on out. Oh, it's going to make a lot of... There you go. All done. I didn't even have to poke anything out. Now I would take my little tool, my Sizzix tool or my tool-in-one, and I'd clean all that out. I've got that over here too. But there it is. Absolutely beautiful and as easy as can be. I don't have any black paper to put behind it. All done. Remember I said it was going to leave a few bits and pieces. See what it did here? Left a few bits and pieces. Not a problem. Grab a wet wipe. And wipe. It may still leave a slight impression, but all the little bits and pieces will be gone. All right. So that's using your precision base plate with your multi-purpose platform that comes with the machine, the recommended way to do it. The realistic way that you guys are probably going to do it, some of you at least, and I want you to be aware of this, is you're going to be doing it on your magnetic platform just because. Will it work? Yes. Does the magnetic feature still hold true? No. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to open up my little tool here. I've got my little Sizzix tool here with the little spongy. I'm just going to put that right on there because I need to clean it before I move on. So this is just a piece of foam and I've got my die and my little sponge. And see what happens? It holds it in place. It just gets rid of it. Let you sponge it all out. Ta-da! Was that magnificent? Was that awesome? And then you just tap it into your trash. Woohoo! I love that. Is it fabulous? Okay, I'm gonna put that right there. So, can you do it on your magnetic platform? Yes. The magnetic element is gone. Let me grab another sheet of paper. It's completely gone because the precision base plate is metal and the magnets aren't strong enough to go through the metal. So if I put this on here, it's going to slide right off. It's just going to slide right off. So the reason you're doing it this way is because it's right there, it's handy, it's easy, and you don't want to grab your multi-purpose platform. And I get that. What you need to know, and again, I have not seen it happen, I just know that it can happen, is that it can crack the magnets in your magnetic platform. Again, I haven't seen it. It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I've just never seen it. But I want you to be as informed as possible. Ellison wants you to use it with your multi-purpose platform. I get that. They're a major company. They need to put it out what it's meant to work with. But I also know crafters, and I know they're going to grab the most easiest thing right there, and if it works, it's good enough for them. But there is a possibility that you may crack one of the magnets in your magnetic platform. I haven't seen it happen. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Also, they would prefer, whether you're using the magnetic platform, which they don't particularly care for, or your multi-purpose platform, they would prefer you move your die around. What that's going to do is keep your plates from warping as much. But again, my feeling is grab the ugliest plate you've got. Grab just the ugliest plate you got, put it in there, and go. So I'm going to roll it through once. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lift up my clear plate, and I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees, put it back through, and it should be cut beautifully on a magnetic platform, as long as you understand that the caveat is you may accidentally break one of your magnets. Never seen it happen, but that doesn't mean that it couldn't happen. It just means we've never seen it happen. All right, I'm gonna pull that over, get rid of that, pull that out, and perfect. Done. All your intricate dies with your precision base plate from Sizzix. Why do we recommend the Sizzix precision base plate? It's the only one that I know for sure will not warp over time. It's made to stand the test of time. It really is. It's a great product. $19.99. It'll be on a YouTube Yummy. Okay, so then I'm gonna pull this back over. This is my little tool from Sizzix. I like that, oh, you heard that just click down to my magnetic platform. I like that you can replace the heads. They just cling right in, put it down, roll, 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 and it holds all the little bits and pieces in place. Roll, 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 until you're ready to throw them away. And then you just tap it off into the trash can, and you're good to go. Magnetic platform in your Big Shot Plus? Absolutely. Magnetic platform with your precision base plate in your Big Shot Plus? Not recommended. The pressure is different in a Big Shot Plus machine. It's different. The way the wheels work, the way they added, put the pressure, because it's a much larger machine. You know, I don't exactly know the whole thing about it, but I know that the pressure on the wheels disperse just a little bit differently. If you put it through, and you can put it through, one, you're gonna go through your plates a little bit sooner. These are gonna get a little bit more cut up into a little bit faster because the pressure is a little bit harder. Will it work? Yes. Do you stand the chance of, you know, ruining or breaking a magnet? Same as in the Big Shot machine. The difference is you're really going to go through your plates much faster. However, if you don't mind using your old icky plates, it will work. You just have to decide if that's okay with you. And again, they'd prefer you kind of move it around, sometimes in the center, sometimes onto a corner, sometimes over there. And I'm gonna send it on through with my Big Shot Plus. It's a little bit tighter, still rolls through beautifully. I would still rotate it a turn and send it back. Just know, if you don't mind using your old plates, it's gonna cut fine. And again, I have never seen it ruin a magnetic platform, and I've done it a lot, but that doesn't mean that it would never happen. And so you need to make that decision. If it's okay with you, then go for it. I will be honest, I'm gonna be doing it just because it's easier. I know they say, huh, but you know what? I'm willing to take the risk. Let's pull it out. I suppose if it happens, I will, oh, there we go. There we go. So all our little bits and pieces have popped right out. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And then I'm just gonna clean it right here. So it's up to you if you want to use your precision base plate in your Big Shot Plus machine. Even if you use it with your multi-purpose platform, you're still going to go through your top plate faster. Keep the old icky ones, it works fine. And then when it does that deep impression, you won't even notice. You won't even notice. Just use your old icky ones and you're gonna be good. Okay, so that is a precision base plate. Yes, you can do it on your multi-purpose platform. That's your recommended sandwich. But yes, you can also do it on your magnetic platform. And that's probably what most of you are going to do. What you need to remember is that you never ever use an open die. This isn't meant to become your new bottom plate, your new bottom clear plate, or your new cut plate. That's not what this is meant to do. This was engineered for a purpose, and the purpose was intricate dies. And you don't want to take one of your dies and warp it. I wonder if it'll warp it. Let's give it a whirl. I'm gonna put it through and we're gonna see if it warps it on the first go round. That way you can see what it does. It's my die, and I'd rather you see it happen on my die than on your die. So I'm gonna move that over there. And put that back over there. I'm gonna bring my Big Shot over. Well, actually, let's do it on a Big Shot Plus machine because then I'm sure it's gonna warp it. Bring my Big Shot Plus machine over. I've got my magnetic platform, I've got my precision base plate, I've got my paper, I've got my die, and let's grab one of my ugly old clear plates and we'll see what happens. Put it through. I've got a little bit of warpage going on. It's just started to warp my die, just a little bit, but if I did it again, it would warp it even more. Can you see? It's a little bit warped. Lower here, higher here. It works, but that's not what the precision base plate was meant to do. The precision base plate was meant for you to then take this piece, line it on up, put it on, and hopefully it stays on the same place, and send it on through. Do a little turn, send it on back. Now I've cut a frame of that, well, then I can then take a different color and add it in. I mean, there's just so many different things, but I still have the cut in here that I haven't gotten out yet. So much to be done. So precision base plate, intricate dies only. meant with your multi-purpose platform, but if you're willing to, absolutely, you can use it in your, or with your magnetic platform. Just keep your old icky plates because that's what's going to work best on the top without ruining any new plates. Pop out all my little bits and pieces, clean my die, woo! Stick it back in, clean my die, and all the little pieces stick there. Very cool tool, $9.99, really cool tool. And the little bristles don't come off, and they sell, just in case, a replacement with this foamy and 2 heads. Awesome. Okay, moving on. Oh my goodness, this YouTube is long. Moving on, let's go to the transfer sheets. So let's do transfer sheets. And with the transfer sheets, I think I'm gonna just use my heart and my doily. Okay, transfer sheets. Let's get rid of the precision base plate. And let's bring them over. This is the ink transfer sheet. It transfers, it makes your dies into stamps, ultimately is what it does. It comes sold, we sell it in both just the transfer sheet or the transfer pad as a little mini kit that gives you a couple dies and a couple sheets to play with, or you can just buy the transfer pad. Let me take it out, and that's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. It is sold separately, and they give you a few little dies to play with. I recommend getting the full set because then you've got something to start with. Okay. I'm gonna bring over my, well, first I'm gonna try it on my magnet. No, first we'll do it on the multi-purpose platform. And we'll do it the way they want us to. So the ink sheets come in several colors. You've got gold, silver, white. I've got a couple golds here. Gold, oops, white, silver, another gold, black, and then a multi-pack. I'm gonna play with the gold today. I'm gonna put these over there. And I'm going to take my transfer pad, and this time you do want to see the directions. So you do want to be able to read the directions when you're putting it through. I'm going to put my transfer pad right on down. I'm going to put my ink sheet. Here's one of them. It's got a little liner on the back. You just take that off and get rid of that. I'm going to put my paper down first. Let's grab a white piece of paper. So my paper, my ink sheet, and my die. And then a clear pad, or my do not cut pad. And I'm gonna send it on through. So I've got my transfer pad, I've got my multi-purpose platform, my transfer pad, my paper, my white paper, my ink sheet, and my die. Notice that I did not use another clear or colored pad. This is your bottom plate, and I'm gonna send it on through. Let's bring my machine right on over. And let's send it on through. Now it barely feels like it did anything. Honest to goodness it does. You're gonna say, well, I don't think it did anything, but wait. Pull off your die. Pull off your ink sheet. It has transferred the image in gold, this gold foil. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It makes your dies into stamps. amazing, amazing. So I can put my paper, my die, no, my ink sheet, my die, and then my clear plate, my do not cut plate, over the top, and send it through. Woohoo! You moved on me. Send it through. It's beautiful. It takes your dies, all your beautiful dies, and instantly makes them into a stamp, which now you can go color or glitter or whatever it is you want to do. It's a little bit of foil happiness that anybody can achieve. Anybody can do this. I want to try it on my magnetic platform. So I'm going to put my die, my multi-purpose platform away. I'm going to bring over my magnetic platform. I'm going to use my transfer sheet, my ink sheet transfer pad. I'm going to put down a piece of paper. I'm going to remove the backing. I'm going to put that right onto my piece of paper, and I'm going to put my die. It doesn't move, so I want to see how it works. Now, I don't know if Sizzix recommends this or not, but I'm going to do it and we're going to see what happens, and you can make your choice as to whether you want to do it or not. Oh, it doesn't feel like it's enough pressure. We'll see. It just slides right through. You almost think that it's not enough. No, I bet it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Oh, it's just a little bit of happiness. Will it leave an impression? Yes, you'll have a little bit of an impression into your top. That's okay. It's not to worry about. It won't, it'll just leave a little bit of an impression of the die that you used. It's all right. Can you use this with your Big Shot Plus machine? Yes. You have to reverse the entire sandwich. Let me bring my Plus machine over. So I got this and that and this. Let me grab these. Let me get that out of the way. And let's use that one. Oh. Come on out, baby. Oh, I've got tape on it. I've got tape on the top of my die. I'm gonna bring my Plus machine on over. Okay, so you have to reverse everything. That means that you have to start with your magnetic platform, if that's what we're using, or your multi-purpose platform. And you would go backwards. So I would put my clear plate down first, then I would put my die with the ridges face up, then I would put my paper, oh, I can use this one. I would put my paper, oh no, I would put my foil. No, so it's gotta go backwards. So die, foil, paper, clear plate. Yes, die, foil, paper, clear plate. It's got to go backwards. Let's see if I did this right. And let's roll it through and see what happens. Hopefully I'm right. Ooh, that might be too tight. Oh, I have my do not cut plate on there. I'm gonna cut this. Oh no, Stacy! Bad, bad, bad. Well, I should have let it finish and see what happens. Let's finish and see what happens. Stacy, Stacy, Stacy. See, no cue cards. Oh, well, it cut it beautifully. Let's see what happened. Oh, and it transferred. I transferred the gold onto it. That's not too bad, but that's not what we were going for. Let's try this again. don't want to cut. So we're going to take our platform. We're going to take our clear plate. We're going to take our die. We're going to take our ink sheet. We're going to put it with the gloss side down because now we're going backwards. We're going to grab a piece of paper. Cut that. Put that on. And then we're going to use our transfer pad. There we go. Now it should go through. Oh yeah, better. Better. I still wanted to cut a little bit, but let's pull off. Oh yeah, better, better, better. Better, better, better. It has to be reverse. So let's do that again so we cement it in our mind, because if you have a plus machine, it has to be in reverse. So let's grab our multi-purpose platform. So we've got our multi-purpose platform. We have our clear plate. We have our ink sheet and our die. So our die, our ink sheet with the shiny side against the die. We've got our paper and we've got our transfer pad. And because we're reversed, it goes upside down so you can't see the words. It has to be done this way. If not, the way the pressure is on this machine, it may cut into your transfer pad. If you do it the reverse, you're gonna be fine. If you do it the way we do it in a regular big shot, there is a possibility that it will cut into your transfer pad, and we don't want to do that. Pull that off. Oh, it's still cut up. And we're still getting some cuts, but it does transfer. If you have your transfer kit, it is optimal to use it in just your plain Big Shot machine. If you are going to try to work it in your Big Shot Plus, make sure you reverse. You absolutely reverse your sandwich. Whatever it says to do on the directions, do it exactly the opposite. Otherwise, you stand the chance of cutting into your pad because the pressure is so great. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm almost afraid to see how long this YouTube is. But you need to know when you're using your Big Shot machine, and whether it be your Big Shot machine or your Big Kick machine or your vintage machine that you know is from Big Shot, they all are the same. If you are using a Cuttlebug machine, these tools will not work for you. If you're using a Grand Caliber, these tools will not work for you. If you want to use your precision base plate, like me, don't use it with an open framed die. Use it with your intricate dies because that's what it was meant for, and it's going to work beautifully and you're not going to have any warpage. If you're going to use your precision base plate, kind of move your dies around every now and then. Don't cut it always in the center. Move it around and keep the ugly plate handy, because this is what you're going to want to use as your top plate as opposed to your pretty new ones, and so they won't get all damaged and cut into. It doesn't hurt them, it really doesn't hurt them, but if you want to keep it pristine and pretty, keep your old ugly plates around. Your magnetic platform can be used with your precision base plate if you choose to. It's entirely up to you. Yes, there is a possibility you could break a magnet. I haven't seen it done, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen. If you want to do larger dies, and there's so many, they didn't make the 9-inch machine for no reason. You know there's good stuff coming. And tomorrow I'm doing a YouTube with the big embossing folders in the Big Shot Plus machine. So if you want to do the larger formatted dies and embossing folders, then get yourself a Plus machine. If you're just starting out and you just want to play, get yourself a Big Shot machine. All the tools work with it and you don't have to worry about reversing anything or changing anything up. It's a very intuitive, happy machine that you'll feel so successful with when you die cut your first time. And remember, when you do die cut your first time, even with the Big Plus machine, if you decide to use the big cutting plates, even with the Big Plus machine, you're going to end up cutting into at least one of those plates. That becomes your cut plate. Really important. I hope that this answers some of your questions so that you know what a crease pad is. It's for dies that have a scoring feature. And you know that the Knock Knock and the Squishy are two peas in a pod. They're Ben and Jerry. They go together and you buy them separately. And that if you need to refer back to this video, just refer back to it again and again, and I hope you took notes. I am sure I left things out, but without having a script or a prompter or a teleprompter telling me what to remember, it all goes by memory. Now, tomorrow I'm doing YouTube 130, so we're going to have an expanded YouTube Yummy sale. I am going to put the tools on sale in a YouTube Yummy sale along with my paper and a few other items. And then tomorrow, what we use in tomorrow's YouTube for 130 will also go on a YouTube Yummy sale. So this is me, Stacy, at Scrapbooking Made Simple. I have no samples to show you, but such pretty things. If you haven't bought your Simply Defined Harvest, now I'm so tired, your Bountiful Harvest set, get it because we're almost sold out. And I will see you all very, very shortly. So tomorrow I come in and YouTube one more time. So by the time you'll be watching this while I'm taping that one. All right, where are you going to find all this great product? Easy. Scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Scrapbookingmadesimple.com. One word. And you'll see it all under YouTube Yummies. Okay, everybody, the do's and don'ts of the Sizzix Big Shot and the Sizzix Big Shot Plus machine is done. We have refreshed. Don't forget to leave your comments so one of you, two of you are going to win. Somebody's going to win a Big Shot and somebody's going to win Big Shot Plus. It might as well be you. Bye, everybody.